Oh, yeah, well, welcome back to Not to My Lifetime channel on this Monday evening instead of a Wednesday evening for the Brigzy Show episode 2. And today we got a special guest, me and Harry. We've got an absolute legend in the city YouTube streaming escapes. Sai, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing good, Luke and Brigzy, my buddy, my mate, my forever friend. I'm doing really good. I've been doing a lot of streams tonight, so I'm fired up. Martin's been speaking a lot of bollocks, so that always gets me fired up. And yeah, I'm ready to do so. I'm looking forward to whatever we're going to talk about. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, should be a good one. I mean, obviously, I think all of the YouTube today's been about the 115 court case. We won't mention it a lot, really, because I mean, if you want a better stream to talk about this, go to LB's Dream of Nobbins for an hour and a half. It's a good stream actually discussing it, breaking it down a bit more in depth and a bit more, more than enough to say we'll do anyway. But I'll mention it briefly. It's just lawyers going into a court or thing, and it's not really. I wouldn't say as much to read into it anyway. It's more just the fact that it started today, and we won't know anything about it until next year. I mean, any kind of leaks you see out of it, I wouldn't believe it at all. Most of it is just going to be the media trying to sort of say otherwise how it's going, trying to take the actual narrative of where it's going. But in all honesty, here we won't know anything about this case until at least next year, but spring next year, probably, if we're being real.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we would get many leaks from it. I think they're going to be pretty tight-lipped about it. And what did it say that there was going to be a decision around New Year's or something, right? So we will probably get something there, and then or the ending. I don't know. I'm so sick of that fucking case. I am so sick of it. Just get it done and let's go. Too many people are speaking nonsense on it, and I just had like so many discussions here because Danish television are doing a lot of it right now, and so many clueless people are talking out their asses. And I've actually done a lot of research on it because it's close to my heart, of course. And I'm just sick of it. You can't discuss with these people. You can't tell them anything. Oh, they'll just say, oh, you know a lot of fancy words, don't you? I mean, fucking hell, bro. You can't even spell correctly. So yeah, I'm just sick of it. Just get it done. Let's focus on football. Too many people use it as an excuse for their club's failures. Ain't nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's been on the radio today, SI in England. All they've been saying is Manchester City's case 115 is set to begin and there could be extreme punishments. That's all they've been saying on the radio. And it's just like, haven't we heard all this for the last two years nearly? It's like, and you get all these rival fans on social media, like we all know. Honestly, what do you know? No one's an expert. That's why Lord Panic's in there doing what he's doing. You're not a lawyer. You don't know the inside details. So just shut up, wait for a decision, get over it. And the reality is, if it's going to be that serious, we're going to get shafted. We could go down to League Two. We might end up going into non-league. But it's not going to come to that because why would we have the best lawyers in the game fighting our corner for us? The worst that's going to happen is probably just get a slap on the wrist like we did with UEFA and pay a fine, and that's that. But we'll always be branded guilty according to some rivals.
Luke, what the hell are you on about, Luke? Luke, come on, man. It's Monday evening. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? Whack it out.
He's finished his stream. Now he wants to get gobby. Come on, Luke.
Yeah.
What are you
chatting? It's because there needs to be context to it. I think that's because I showed Luke the pictures of my date last night, and then someone made a comment. I can't say who, but about a little Willie, and I was like, "Dude, don't test me. I'll wag it out. I'm hung like a horse." And then that's why they're saying that. They want proof, and I told them I'll give you proof at the Etihad. Don't worry, mate.
Always at the Etihad.
Was it the Etihad?
All the fun happens, bro.
Luke is a naughty boy because of you.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Harry got pajamas on. I was going to say, incredible pajamas.
Excuse me, this is not pajamas. This is actually from Disneyland Paris, mate. So I think you need your eyes testing, Luke. If you think it's pajamas, mate, then what am I wearing down below?
Don't want to know, Harry. I don't want to know at all, Harry. I don't want to know at all.
You don't want to know about Luke, mate.
Big up to Aaron.
Go on,
Lads,
you
careful
wind
with
up,
size.
bro.
Yeah, well, no, it's fine. Size all right. Yeah, it's meant to wear anyway. Always welcome it. Always welcome it. Always welcome it. Absolutely. It is a big week ahead. Not just off the pitch,
Yeah.
on it as well. 2 massive games in September. I mean, I wouldn't have thought, right? I mean, Inter, I know we had a very consistent run of fixtures, I'd say, this year. I mean, I know we've got like a tough run. I think is it like November time towards December time? But I think overall we've got quite a a decent run of fixtures, I'd say. I mean, obviously quite very compared to obviously previous years, but I think this week's definitely going to be a real test to see where the whole squad actually is. Obviously at the moment, because you got obviously Inter Milan, champions of Italy, playing all right. I mean, I've watched them a little bit. I've been getting wins here and then. Was it draw last night against Monza? I think. I'm not sure what the actual full-time score was.
Yeah. Last night, 1-1. Yeah.
Drew Monza.
Sweater's
So they're not
down, weren't they?
yeah,
They were 1-0 down, and then what's his name?
Martinez.
I don't think it was Martinez. I think it was a defender or something.
Oh, Dumfries. That was it. Dumfries scored. That was
Dumfries.
I think it was, yeah, Dumfries. Yeah. That's back. Ryan, exactly, mate. It's all it is on the media. It's just the same stuff all over and over again with the same stories, the same headlines. So it's why I think for me personally, after today, I better get mention it again because there's no point. Like at the end of the day, right? Everyone knows as much as everyone else at this point. Apart from people in that courtroom discussing all this stuff, no one else knows anything. So until then, I'm just gonna chill and talk about City. Because at the end of the day, right? Our club isn't about law firm. It's not it's not really a suits. It's about 11 men on a pitch. You get the ball around, try and win trophies. That's all we're here for. We're not here to discuss legal stuff, but yeah, and that's enough of that, I think. But incredible Dyche. I'm sure you've heard this, Si, his Dyche impression. Have you been hearing his Dyche impression?
No, did you do it to me at the Etihad? Because I was pretty pissed, so I'm not sure if I don't remember.
You think you was pissed? I think I was as well. I must have been drinking from like 9 o'clock at that Ipswich match.
Yeah, well, no, when in the tempo you drink, that's only like 3 pints, isn't it?
God, why did you just call me fruit juice boy next?
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I don't want to insult you too much. I like to keep it up level, bro.
You're a fair guy, unlike some, but I probably didn't do my Dyche impression because I mean it's for YouTube only.
For YouTube only.
I want to hear the Dyche impression now. You can't really get around it, can you?
Tell you what, you put on a good show tonight, and I'll do it just for you at the end.
All right.
Pause, bro. Pause.
That was a bit.
Jesus Christ, man.
Not even 10 minutes into the show.
I have told you once. I like ladies. I like birds, bro. So not this again, okay?
Money, pussy, fanny, habits.
It is a good movie, to be fair. It is a good movie, Incredibles. It is a very good movie. Come on, boys. Smash the likes. Get the comments in. Come on. I'm trying to reach elder subscribers by the end of September. Not far off now, but 28 subscribers off now. 800. So we can get there by the end of the month. I'll be much appreciated, everyone. Cheers as always for all the support as well, and all the comments as well, and streams and videos. Absolutely, yeah. So it was Dumfries into now. I'll be honest with you, going into the Inter Milan game now after seeing Saturday. Now I doubt it'll be the exact same team. If it is, I'll be very surprised. Pep picked the exact same team he's going to play against Inter. Do you start Rodri on Wednesday?
I would. I would start Rodri. I think it's time. He got 60 minutes for Spain, 45 for us. He doesn't need necessarily to play all 90 minutes in the Inter game, but I think he should start. Definitely, and I agree with you. I think the rotated squad, starting 11, and the gamble was in the weekend for Brentford. Now we'll probably see what is Pep's starting 11, like his preferred starting 11 at this point. I think that's what we're going to see. in this and the Arsenal game, building up to it.
Yeah, I think that as well, because what you'd have to do is, if you want to get Rodgers some minutes in the tank for the big one on Sunday, whereas realistically, Arsenal's more important than Inter Milan because you've got 7 more group matches to consider, whereas what's more important, getting as ahead as Arsenal as possible, or like playing Rodri 90 minutes against Inter, and then obviously shattered come Sunday. I think just get him some minutes in the tank, and then you can rotate to second half, like go again, and then Sunday Rodri's ready, and you can play him as longer as you like to for Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because also, I was there on Saturday. I watched that midfield because I said before a lot. This season, midfield's going to be that experiment this year because it's not going to be the same midfield all year. I think I think Pep actually knows it's better midfield to at least end the season because you look at the options we've got: Rodri, Gundogan, Kovacic, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. You've got so many, and Nunes as well in there as well. McAtee as well. You've got so much variety in like 7 or 8 players in the midfield. Yeah, and Foden as well. I'm forgetting Foden as well. It's like there's so much variety in this team now. So you won't really know your best midfield until at least I reckon March, I'd say, if that, because the amount of games we've got to play as well in that time. Like obviously, we've got about 7 games obviously this period, obviously before the next break, and we've got another 7 or 8 against the next. So it'll be a bit varied. But as we get towards obviously winter, starts really piling up the fixtures. I think we'll start seeing the team come together a little bit more, but again, I know it's sort of estimating or guesstimating, obviously, how it's going to be. But I think these 2 games particularly, we'll start seeing whether or not for the last season, like Rodri, De Bruyne, and Foden, or Rodri, Foden, whatever, it's going to be the exact same midfield as this year. Because I thought Gundogan was, I wouldn't say it was his best on Saturday, but second half it was much better and much more in the game. Was getting in the box, especially with a DM actually sitting behind him, it allowed him to actually push forward and get in the box. I think the first time I noticed it wasn't like it was like 2 players trying to do the same thing, and it kept getting us actually exposed in the defence, with allowing Brentford to actually piling us. Whereas obviously brought on Rodri and Vardio instantly, much more control in the team. I think the Walker Lewis fullback experiment didn't really work. I'm not saying Walker or Lewis was the reason for that, but I think there was no control at full in that left back position. And I love Rico, but I don't think he's that left back player for us. I think he's more the right back than he's the left back for me personally. I think obviously if Ake was fit, it would have obviously been ideal to have had Ake there. But I think when you look at that, look at Saturday's game, obviously it's good to get the win. But it's definitely for Pep as well an idea to sort of see where players can actually play going forward, especially in certain games this season. But I'll be real with you, I think I won't be playing Rico and Kyle Walker fullback much this season, if I'm being real, especially after what we saw Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think that's something Pep is planning to do. As I said also earlier in other streams, it's about getting players minutes in the legs, getting them match fit, and because when you're match fit, it doesn't matter what game, but you have a role to play, and it's necessary that people can just step in and perform to a level that is required at City, and that to do that you need minutes. And when we look at the games coming up, I mean, you don't really want to take a big chance against Inter Arsenal. So the only game where you actually could maybe do some rotation and get away with it was against Brentford, and it wasn't a good. The first 20-25 minutes we could have been down like 4-0, but the gamble did pay off in the end. 3 points. We move. Like, let's go. We can't be playing swashbuckling beautiful football every single game. That's just not possible. Sometimes get the minutes in the players, get all the thing around. We kept Haaland going. 3 points, done. Let's move.
Yeah.
I think also you've got to look at John Stones, because he's not played as many minutes in particular since April. Like that FA Cup final, for example. Should John Stones be playing in that match? No. There was more players probably on form and obviously match sharp, match fit. For John Stones on Saturday, it was the same situation. Like, obviously, he's got a part to play in the goal where he's like kicked it accidentally and it's fallen back to Wissa. But then, what you got to think of: should John Stones be playing Inter Milan? No. Should he be playing Arsenal? No. Where I'd throw John Stones in next would be Watford, because it's going to be a low tempo game in terms of the opposition we're playing, with all due respect to them. But then it's minutes for John Stones, and then you can build him up for a Slava away, and then you could probably throw John Stones at Fulham a few days later. Build him up, because you got to realise, on his day, he's probably one of the best centre backs in the league. But when he's not on his day, like Saturday and the FA Cup, he's bag of biscuits, basically. He's bag of bourbon creams.
Well, but that's funny you say that, Brigzy. For me, I would play him against Inter. I'll give him 60 minutes. And that's all due to me wanting to play him against Arsenal. And for him to play in the Arsenal game, he needs more minutes. So I would play him for 60 minutes for Inter. And hopefully he will start showing the qualities he have. Because if we play him in the Arsenal game, I would play a back four of Akanji, Stones, Diaz, Guardiola. Kind of the triple winning back four just without Ake, because he's injured, right? And then I would invert Stones, so we would have a double pivot of Stones and Rodri, which would allow us to play with both Kevin and Foden as 10s, which I think their creativity and their shooting outside the box will be pivotal to our to win the game, because Arsenal will be in a low block and they will be solid and they will be defending with their lives, and they're really, really good at it. They're very, very solid in the back. So that's my whole thinking process, why I would do, how I would go to the Inter game, because it's all in preparation for the Arsenal game.
For Inter, I get your side. I actually
Who is Keith Curl?
Keith Curl, right?
Who's that?
I'm very sure.
Keith Curl. I wouldn't mind him at the right side, but for Arsenal, I won't play John Stones, because you need everyone to be 100% for the Arsenal game. Because, like I said to you earlier, there's 7 other Champions League games, whereas Arsenal, it's basically you must win against Arsenal, if you like, because then you've got a big lead on Arsenal, really. 4 points, and then you move forward to Champions League group stage 2. John Stones can play Bratislava and Fulham, but for Arsenal, nah, because if he doesn't mistake like that, another bozo moment, it could cost you, especially when Arsenal are a team that likes to sit back and because they ain't got a striker to go forward and collect to win and play properly. They'll just bottle it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, I googled him. I didn't know he played for City. I never heard his name before, ever.
Yeah, I think it's like the hair, I think, and also the kit as well, probably sort of like a bit similar. But I think it's that.
I see what it means now. I found a picture from when he was
sold.
I only found pictures when he was sold. Okay. I see what it means. Yeah. Okay, fair. I take it as a compliment, Steve, because he was a good-looking lad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I tell you as well, I mean, I want to ask both your opinion as well. I mean, Savio on Saturday, I thought we saw good glimpses of him. You know, I think it's on the ball when it starts taking on players, especially him and Jack as well. Been both did actually pretty well to sort of taking on their fullbacks. I mean, obviously they had like 2 or 3 men on them every time to go down the wing. I think for Savio, for me though, I think it's particularly the diving aspect, which obviously he did one dive on Saturday, which wasn't good at all. And as much as I appreciate him trying to win a penalty, it ain't gonna work in this league. Especially referees are.
He saw the swinging leg of the defender and was like, yeah, that's going to hit me. Whoop. And that leg never came. I mean, that's not a good look, bro. He should definitely not do that too many times this season, because he will quickly be like dubbed the next Sterling or something, man.
Yeah, I hope not. I've been really enjoying him so far. I mean, I've seen him. I think like 2 times now. I didn't get to see him against West Ham, who was injured, but I really enjoyed like sort of how he sort of takes on this man on the right or left. He sort of just goes for it. He sort of uses a bit of skill. Not it's like Neymar skill, but like very like, you know, just direct, goes for it and gives his best. And that chance there where he ran like through like 2 or 3 players and almost score, that would have been one of the best goals I would have seen for a while. Especially because it's been a while since we had a player like that. Maybe like Sane, probably, or Mahrez, I'd say. You can sort of do that.
Mahrez,
Mahrez,
the similarities to that. Yeah. Only Mahrez would bury that.
Yeah, Mahrez would bury that.
Yeah. But it will come. It will come.
Yeah, he'll get that. As I said before, like this season for me, I said to Alex as well, who the podcast with, it's all about the bedding in season. He needs to bed himself into the team. And I'm sure, let's say, that first goal will come, and that obviously the assists start coming more and more. He will get more chances in this team, and he'll impress. I think for me, I think all wingers will. Obviously, Bob as well. Obviously, when he's fit, we're going to see Bob in his team, especially with Savio. Savio and Bob, I think, will be a great wing options at one game. Having Haaland have players like Savio, Bob, Doku, and Jack on the wing trying to find him is what we need to try and get this team go obviously towards. I think the actual midfield, I'm sure we'll get there as well. Obviously, it's still it's like 4 games in anyway, so it's still very early to sort of tell where we are anyway. But from what I'm seeing at the moment, it's definitely getting better. It's taking a bit of time, but I'm sort of seeing where it's going. But honestly, I think as fans, especially not necessarily us three, but I think the fans who are online, impatient as well, they need to realize that this team is a whole new team again. Yes, it's similar players, but a whole different sort of way of playing again. Like wingers actually going for it now. Obviously, you've got Grealish, Doku, Bob Waste, Savio. You've got a lot more difference compared to last year. Directness compared to holding the ball up. What we got to do is try and find that balance of directness and holding the ball up, because there's gonna be games where we'll have like a false nine probably. Imagine against Watford, it would be a false nine at Haaland. So we've got to find a way of that working. So for me, I'm actually enjoying the actual process of us doing that. Like it's going to obviously it's good to win as well. A full win from Force is still great. Obviously going into Inter on Wednesday, but I'm enjoying like the team sort of building up momentum. Getting there. Getting the goal. I know obviously it's been Haaland so far. It's been the goals, but I'm enjoying how we're sort of trying to find him. Like not just Edison trying to find him, but the wingers trying to find him. It's a bit more. It's directness. I think that's something that we kind of lacked for a while now. Even this a bit of directness in this team. I'm looking forward to seeing, especially like the wingers as well, how we sort of like change obviously to different games. It's just it's quite exciting. I know obviously it's still early days, but I'm enjoying the sort of that actual change around. It's good to sort of see a bit of difference in this team for again.
I wonder something, right, when it comes to the Arsenal game on Sunday. If Savio's going to play on Sunday against Arsenal, and like when we was discussing off stream, Arsenal for like Haaland, he'll have to get inside of Saliba's and Gabriel's heads, and it'll start like playing with him mentally, and might start kicking Haaland. I wonder, especially after Savio's dive the other day, I wonder if that could play into Savio's hands, like if he sees Haaland getting kicked up, and if Savio can get inside the Arsenal defenders' heads, and they might start playing tricks on him, and then he could probably not say dive, but try and win as a penalty or win as a few free kicks, because Savio's got that in his locker. If he does it smart, especially when Arsenal play that low block and just sit behind the ball for 90 minutes, well, based off last season anyway.
Well, yeah, because if you watched the Spurs game, obviously yesterday, I watched it while on the train. I mean, Tottenham can't score for shit, so that's Tottenham and not us. Like Tottenham are a whole different mess of a team compared to how we are. But the way Arsenal set up, they have to play well, but they had a game plan, stuck with it.
It was similar to last season, wasn't it?
But won the game. As if for Arsenal for me are not better than last year. However, they're experienced compared to last year, which does count towards something. But the thing is with Arsenal, obviously, I'll go into that game later on before obviously going to Inter. For Arsenal, it's the finishing. Yes, they won the game 1-0, but they won't always get a set piece to actually get the winner. So for us particularly as well, when we're playing against Arsenal, we've got to be able to find a way of playing differently, like always try and mix it up, because as I said before, Arsenal and Arteta will know that Haaland will be the player that will try and target. But the thing is, if we try and utilize everyone on that pitch to try and find a way of scoring, I don't care who scores a goal on Sunday to win the game 1-0 or whatever it's going to be. As long as someone scores the goal to win the game, I couldn't really care. Obviously, I love seeing Haaland score goals, but obviously, being a big game on Sunday, particularly as well, it's all about how can we utilize our midfield and attack the correct way? How can we bypass the press that they're going to have, and also the defensive wall that they're going to have, also like last time? Or is Mikel actually going to go for it this time? Because because we have no idea how they go. Obviously, it could do a Spurs, but we'll get something else. It depends obviously on how Arteta's going to start against us. But if I'm being, go on, sorry.
I'm pretty sure that we know exactly what Arteta will do against us.
Yep.
I think we saw it last season, and them not having a player like Ødegaard will be an even bigger incentive to do a tactic, which they do. Like, there isn't wrong and right in football. Whatever works, and then that's the right thing to do. And them playing very defensively and on the counter and trying to exploit dead balls. That's something they're really, really good at. And what we're susceptible to is the counters. So I could see like a Sterling having a big role to play. Like if they just soak up the pressure for 60, 70 minutes and then put on Sterling, because they know we will, if that's 0-0, they know we will throw everything at it, which will leave a lot of space in the
defense,
in the back room, in defense, So, I mean, we know what they will do. They will play a low block and try to hit us on the counter and try to do a smash and grab like 1-0. And if they do so, kudos to them. Hats off.
Yeah.
That's like we have talked throughout the years many times that Pep needs to adapt to certain games and that. And you can fault Arteta then like for doing that, adapting and maybe get a result, because I don't think there's any question that we are a much better team. Pep is a much better manager. And if we play to our fullest and they play to their fullest in expensive football, we smack them. We definitely smack them.
Yeah.
So
we are equipped. I agree. It's just about how do we break them down without us getting frustrated ourselves.
What I mean,
because like Si's mentioned last season, so have I, and me and Luke was just mentioning their side, the Tottenham game yesterday, and I said it to Luke on our stream last week. Tottenham, if they didn't win that, which they haven't, it's a bottle job. No Rice, no Odegaard, and they literally had so many shots. They just didn't take the chances, and it's cost them from that like corner and Gabriel's put in the back of the net. We can't do that because then we'll look just as bad as Tottenham. So we just got to stick to our game plan. We've got to try everything, like even if it means Kevin De Bruyne, Foden. But I think the difference could be Savio, because we didn't have that last season, and we all know what you get from Jeremy Doku. He's just going to be quick. He's just going to be pacey, and you get Grealish. But I think if you have a hybrid of like a Grealish and Doku, which is like Savio, I think that could be the difference this time.
Can I hear your first look, but both of your starting 11s for the Arsenal game?
Sure. All right. So obviously Edison goal. Not with anything else. I'm agree with you on start. I'd go with Kanji, Diaz, Stones, Vardiol. Carl Walker for me. No. If you can't deal with a cross against Brentford, I don't want to see you try and deal with Martinelli. Even though he isn't playing at his best right now, it's still Gabriel Martinelli on the left-hand side and much better.
Just jump in there, sorry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play Carl Walker, I agree. I'd save Carl Walker for just Watford, because that could be like LB said on his stream in the play ratings he did. That could be Carl Walker's make or break game. You don't want Carl Walker doing them sort of stupid errors against Arsenal. It cost us.
No. So I mean, midfielder go Rodri. I think you have to at this point. I mean, when he came on Saturday, you immediately saw the team shift. Like the control was back in the team again. Gundogan, De Bruyne were able to go forward and attack more. It felt like we had like an anchor in that midfield, sort of pushing us forward. I think that's exactly what we need again in a game like this. Now, this is the thing, right? I played De Bruyne. Obviously, I played De Bruyne. I'm stuck at the because obviously I'm stuck between Gundogan or Foden. Because the thing is, with Foden, he hasn't played much or at all so far. Is that off the bench?
Don't you think he will play against
back,
Inter? Don't you think he will start or play a lot of minutes against Inter?
I think he will, but I want to see how he plays against Inter before I sort of throw him into Arsenal. But I think let's do an if. If Foden has a good game against Inter, I start him against Arsenal. If not against Inter, I start Gundogan. That's what I'm going to sort of go, I think. But that's a spot I'm like not so certain on yet.
Just to that, just because some people have raised the concerns of Gundo and Kevin not having the legs. And if we're playing a midfield of Rice, Partey, Jorginho, which is very likely, they will also have two players with no legs. Wouldn't because we have one player that has legs like no other player in Bernardo.
Yes, no, I forgot it. I see why. You know what? No, now I know I'm playing Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne. Rodri, Bernardo. That's what I'm playing in the midfield three. Obviously, Gundogan and Foden off the bench is ridiculous anyway. I mean that bench on Saturday was insane. Well, I was like, what the fuck? I just started laughing. I was like, yeah,
and that's without Aki and Bob. I mean, there's a pretty decent bench.
Both back now.
Yeah.
Charge 118 now in an illegal team, an illegal bench.
But Rodri and Bernardo in that double pivot on Sunday.
Mate, I will be there.
We'll also allow Kevin a more free role.
Exactly.
So let me hear your wingers, because now this is for me why I mentioned Bernardo, because playing Bernardo means for me only one thing, but I want to see if you're on the same wavelength as me.
Right, okay. This is the thing, because
I'm actually I'm actually agreeing with the rest of your team, but I'd actually play Rico at right back, because like I said to you last time, Rico is undroppable until he does something bad himself.
You have a good point there. You have a good point. I think that is an interesting one, that one, because I think Rico has played very well this season. You know, I mean, Brentford, I wouldn't say was his finest game, but again, everyone was terrible in the first 20 minutes anyway, so I'm not going to just, all in for that. But I think the wingers for me, if I'm being real with you, I'm at a crossroad, because the thing is, I'm not saying it's because you got options there that you can play any kind of style you want, really. I think for me, I start Savio. I would. I mean, apparently he's fit. Now, the question is, do I start on the left or on the right? Because if I'm going on the left, I'm playing Doku on the right, which would be great. But do I want Doku for energy off the bench? That's what I'm trying to sort of go for. I mean, I don't know.
The best moment of Savio have been on the right. We saw them playing at
what West Ham was it?
No, I think it was Chelsea, where Doku started on the right and Savio started on the left, and then 12 minutes inside the game, they chose to switch it around. Pep not telling them, but they were like, "We're both playing shit," and then when they switched,
it was 20 minutes in one. I remember it now.
Yeah.
You know
I don't
what?
think you would see that Savio on the left and Doku on the right. I don't see that.
No.
But Savio on the right for me is what I would go with, due to. Because we talked about unlocking. So what you're doing right now, Luke, is for me, if Foden isn't fit enough to play the game, right?
Yeah.
Because there's Pepper said many times that Foden doesn't need a lot to be match fit, but we don't know at this point if playing 60 minutes against Inter is enough. We don't know. Let's just say it's not enough. So that's what you said until now. I'm completely agreeing with that, and that's also why I would, because Bernardo isn't a creative player, so we need more of an outlet outside of Kevin.
Yeah,
and that would be Savio for me on the right. At least.
I think for me now, I think I'm not sure whether you agree with me on this one. For me, I would probably go Jack.
Yes.
Yep.
Because right, I love Doku, by the way. I think Doku is a good player to have in this squad, and when he gets it right, he'll be one of the best wingers in this league. He has the pace, gets the passing, shooting right. He'll be one of the best wingers in the league. But I'm not throwing Doku on the left to just run at Ben White. Did they get hounded out by a free man? Whereas if I have Jack there, I've got an outlet to go on the left. I've got Kev can obviously go over there as well and sort of link up with him. And Haaland's got that ability where Haaland's got players around him that can sort of try and find him. It's the thing that I know it's not necessarily easy, but I think from what I saw on Saturday when going forward from Jack and Savio and Haaland, it can work. Look, Savio needs time, granted, but from what I've seen of Savio so far, is a player who's not afraid to go for it, not afraid to take on 2 or 3 men, and at times get past him with ease. Like Brentford had 3 men in him, and he got past all 3 of them in one. I was like, this guy can do it for us. And against Arsenal, where we're so unpredictable, I think for me that front three of Grealish, Haaland, and Savic is what I'd go for. So that's the team I'd go for.
Yeah, I think what you've got to realise is Savio and Doku, it could be trouble because obviously we all know what Doku's like. He's just a road runner. His end product, it's not there, and he still needs time to adapt to that. And would you like to have Doku just obviously just running at Ben White? But if there's no end product, what's the point? Like you could have Ireland on the end of them crosses. At least Grealish offers you that control, and then he can probably like put a few crosses in if necessary to give it to Haaland.
Yeah.
And Savio, we know what he's like. Savio's got that end product. He's got the pace, and he's like you said there. He'll take a couple of players on and burn him. But if you just had Savio and Doku, I just think that's asking for a disaster.
Yeah, not yet.
But not,
Then to
not
some
to
point
say,
will be.
not to say sorry, but like you said earlier, you could bring Doku on in the second half when legs are tired and you've got him on the back foot.
I think it's also important. We talked about it. They will play a low block and try to hit us on the counter. And Grealish is really, his defensive work is really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
And him retaining the ball will allow us not to be too susceptible for counters. And let's just say it's in this 70 minute and it's still 0-0. We could throw Doku on for Grealish, and go for it. Throw Foden on for Bernardo. You know what I mean? Like we would have the option from the bench to like throw Doku, Foden on to a team with already Savio, Haaland, and Kevin. That's pretty mental when you think about it, right? So yeah.
It's like I'm
But
sorry,
right?
It's man. I've got to say, right, our squad's insane this year. When you look at us, I think it's probably one of our best squads we've had. Because if you look at like the level of quality we've got in this team compared to like don't get wrong, we've had good squads in the past. Even the treble team was a great squad of players, but the amount of quality we've got, even in like the reserves, like O'Reilly's coming through as a good player. McAtee, like we got some good players in this squad. I think people don't actually realize that at times. Like we've got a good squad here. We just need to sort of just utilize it properly, use it at the right moments, but also play the right players every game. Which is why I think is why all this agreement here on the team. The front three is what I think for me should be our front three for the moment because it's the most it's the most output you're bring out of it. You got a winger who's going to take on his man. You've got another winger who's going to do the exact same thing, but hold the ball up properly as well, and also get other players into the team. And you've got a striker who's just banging goals for fun. So I think that's probably what I'd go for. I mean, Inter's a whole different game. That's a different game compared to Arsenal. I mean, Inter do a similar thing, but it's a European night, not necessarily the same sort of level of of attention. But I think for me, yeah, I agree with both of you. I think that's what I'd go for as Arsenal. That team is probably what wins the game.
What I will say is on the squad, for me, it's not about what level we have, like the amount of quality we have. It's more about the squad depth. We've got enough players in each position when required. So like Rico, Akanji, and then worst case scenario, no offense to the guy, but Walker. The only position that we're lacking in,
Stones
even. The only position we're lacking in is the striker, but I think they're still looking at that come January transfer window. So if they can get the striker over the line in January, I think the squad depth going into that back end of the season and the Club World Cup, it's going to be extremely insane because, yes, the quality's there, but so is the balance, which is the key thing.
I don't even think we need anything in January, if I'm being honest, because we have Gundo, we have Bob, we have Foden, we have Kevin, we have a lot of people who play false nine. And often, also when we had Haaland, we often play better football, like more aesthetic pleasing football with a false nine. So for me, as Luke said, our squad this season is amazing. Probably one of the best we've had. It's very well balanced when you look at the amount of players, because we have like 2 or 3 players more than last year.
Yeah.
I know that's also due to us promoting a few academy players, but the difference from this and the triple season is we have way more tools in our toolbox this season.
Exactly.
So we have wingers who can control Bernardo, Grealish. We have all out like one-on-one demons in Doku and Savio. We have very versatile players all over the squad that can fill in different. We have so many solutions to an injury or a team playing a certain way. So that's I mean, this is for me. I don't know what you rated the summer transfer window, but when I rated it, I looked at how much money did we get in, which player did we sell, like who did we need to get rid of, and who did we get rid of, who did we address the position we lacked in as a defensive midfielder? Yes, we got Gundo back. And did we address the right wing, which we had no outlet from last season? Yes, we did. Did we lose any key players? Not really. I mean, Alvarez, you could make the argument, but I think we have solution in the team, and the money we got from him is perfect. So I said it was a 9 out of 10 window. So much money made, no money spent. We improved the squad. I think that's, if you can make the squad better in a summer transfer window and make so much money, do you know how ridiculous that is? That is a genius.
You got a upcoming Brazilian winger, probably one of the best wingers in the world as he gets older. You know, developing into a top player as he gets older. You got our triple winning captain from Barcelona, who, by the way, was Barcelona's best player by far last season. I watched Barcelona last year. Him and Yamal, I'd say, were the best players I've watched last year for Barcelona. And Yamal, by the way, so far this season, incredible. I'm watching so far.
On the Gundogan one, though.
Yeah.
On the Gundogan one. Obviously, yes, it's nice to have him back, and the important thing was to get that defensive midfielder, central midfielder, versatile midfielder, whatever, over the line. But the long-term game is successful because Gundogan's here for 1 year, 2 years if he gets his extension, and then you can look at Adam Wharton in the future as a long-term replacement who can do like 5-6 years with Savio, Doku, Haaland, Foden, whoever. So it's working out quite well to have Gundo back on the short term.
It is, because I think for me as well, right? Look, everyone's talking about Musiala. I get it, like, you know, it's a big hype thing. But I'll be honest with you, right now, I don't care about transfers like that for a moment, because right now it's not a priority. Look, if that happens, we'll obviously celebrate when it does happen. But right now, all I'm hearing about that is just a lot of contract rumors. So I'm just ignoring that because that's just media talk. Until we get, I mean, right now our focus should be on the games, which is what we were talking about today.
Yes.
I think for me, our squad and how good we've got a balance as well of players that can sort of play in sort of different positions, but also change up when we need to. It's strongest thing I've seen under Pep, because I think even that Centurions team had the players to can sort of do that, but the bench wasn't always the best anyway. And then we had a decent team. But I remember, I think over the years, our teams got better and better with the depth as we add to it each summer, or, you know, different players have come through the academy. So I think when I look at this current team, this current iteration of City, it's probably the most balanced, one of the most, you know, just the Arsenal we've got are players that we can use, that we can change at different times. I think it's the best. I think I've seen it under Pep. Now, obviously, people have to have their opinions on that, but from what I've seen, I mean, Sai's correct. That I thought it was a great window overall. I thought, you know, Alvarez left, yes, but I'll be honest with you, right? A player of his quality, especially a striker, was never going to play much anyway. So to get money for him like we did from Atletico Madrid was brilliant. So I think overall, good money coming in through the door. Two good players obviously coming through to sort of back up the squad. Overall, I think it was a good window. I think the team we've got now going into the rest of the season, I'm very confident that it can win the games, or most of the games we've got, and win everything. That's where I'm at right now. Anyway, but
I've got a question for you both then. So when we play Inter on Wednesday, obviously I presume you'd play Haaland, but question is, how long would you play him ahead of Sunday, and then who would you take Haaland off for and replace him for the rest of the Inter game?
That's a good question. For me, it's always very difficult because we don't know how the game will proceed. But in an ideal world, you would play him for like 60 minutes and then bring him off. And then if Foden hasn't been starting or whatever, I would maybe try playing him either from the bench or just in the start 11, move him to the false nine.
Yeah,
I just think, or Gundo from the bench in the false nine, maybe.
I think the thing is, I think to me personally, when I look at this, I think at some point we got to start practicing that false nine. I know we've got Haaland, and Haaland's incredible, but I don't want to be overplaying him every possible game we can, and he gets injured, and we've got to try and find a false nine again. I'd rather start practicing it with it. Let's say, look, I think Brentford was a hard game. So I can't fault Pep for playing him the whole game because it was a tough game. He obviously had to try and get a third or fourth goal possible. I think if we're up games like 3 or 4-0, bring him off, get a midfielder on, and practice false nine, because I think having that as a option is going to be incredibly useful in certain games. Because what we can do is, once we've got a system working well and used properly, we can start using that a lot more in different games, and actually fooling a lot of managers and teams thinking that, oh, Haaland's going to play. No, actually, no, I'm actually going to play this team. Having that ability to do that will be so important, especially in Europe as well. Having that ability to sort of just swap over and change things. Now, obviously, Haaland will play most games anyway, but to have that option is especially after last year, is so good. So, yeah, I think for me, it's Inter. It would be like 2-0 or 3-0 comfortable. I'll bring them off about an hour and bring on another player. Just try and sort of keep him fresh.
I think there's 3 games coming up in the next few weeks where you can try the false nine system, like we've mentioned there with the Inter game. Take Haaland off 45, I'd say 45 to 60 minutes, considering the result and the next match with Arsenal. I'd also play a false nine Watford 100% because you don't need Haaland against Watford.
Yeah,
and I've mentioned it to Luke before, Si. I'd consider not playing Haaland with Bratislava away because one, you've got Newcastle on the Saturday, and then you've got Fulham the following Saturday with Bratislava in between. But also, you don't know what that pitch is going to be like in Slovakia. It could be one of them like 3G pitches or shit AstroTurfs where Haaland could pick up a knock. And it's only group stage 2, and you've got plenty more matches in the Champions League. So if you want to try out false nine season, I'd do it in the next few cup matches coming up.
I actually think the argument you made about the pitch and all that is actually a valid one. At the same time, we know that
Young boys last season.
Yeah, true. But we also know that Pep respects every team and every competition.
Yeah.
And even though it's early in the Champions League, I think not playing Haaland in the form he's in that game when he's probably maybe haven't played full time at Inter and didn't play maybe at all at Watford. I mean, yeah, I don't like he might be. I think he will still be starting, but I actually like the argument of a bad pitch is maybe affects him more or have the chance to affect him more than any other because he's so big and when he runs and all that. So yeah, that's an interesting one. That will for me depend on how much do we see him play in the other games.
Bear in mind, Newcastle and Fulham either side of Bratislava.
Bro, I think we smack up Newcastle. Like literally, have you seen them play? They are terrible, bro.
I think for me, Newcastle, the thing is, though, I'll give you an example of a game. Now I know that they're playing crap right now anyway, but I watched them play against Southampton at home in that game, and Southampton play a style football. I'm not saying it's the same level of football, nowhere near ours, but the style of play they had against us, they couldn't deal with it. And when we got better players than Southampton do, who could put the ball in the net, we could actually use that and beat them. Because I think for me, Newcastle this season's in a weird spot. No Europe, no and the no idea of how it's going to go next time in terms of money, because obviously because of PSR and also and all that bullshit rules that's sort of them very much this summer. Yes, they got to pay back. I think it's a good signing overall from last year. Actually, a good player overall. But the squad overall isn't that good. It's a few injuries away from a proper meltdown again like last year. So I'll be honest with you, I think Newcastle will actually be easier than people will realise. I think I do agree with signing that one. I'm not saying it'll be a battering because it never will be. It never will be that ground. But I think
you heard it here before.
He's come with chest.
Fair enough.
I've made big claims this season. We're gonna win the lot. Haaland's gonna smash his goal scoring record, at least 40 goals. I've even said I don't think.
Has LB brainwashed you?
No. I'm very reasonable. When I see proof, when I see a team like ours, and I have 8 years of Pep backing everything, I just, bro, I'll probably be
But St
wrong,
James's
but
Park
I
is
don't
no
I don't think
pushover.
I don't think we'll lose a league game.
St James's Park is no pushover. Oscar Bob
No,
last minute.
I've never
Lost
said.
in the cup. I know that
Wait,
was
wait,
tough.
wait, 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 wait.
And 3-3.
We were bro. We played 60% last season. We still won the league. We were at 60% last season.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling, bro. We'll win everything. We won't lose a league game, and Haaland will smash the goal
I'll
scoring record.
tell you what, lad. If that happens, send me your bank details, and I'll send you over 100 quid if we win the lot.
Bro,
the quadruple.
I'll take your money and I'll spend it on pints to both of us.
I'll be honest here. I'll be honest here. Yeah, I'm here by the way. So I actually witnessed that myself. I witnessed that twice now.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I think for me, with the League Cup, it depends purely on how far we go with easy draws. If we get a good run of draws, like we get like Watford or like easier teams, I think we can do it. But if we get like a tough team, it depends on who we're playing, obviously. Because as I said before, it depends on what our fixtures are. If that's between two easy games, sure, go for it. But I think for me, like priorities wise, the League Cup isn't anywhere near the Champions League or Premier League right now. But if we go through, obviously, I'm pleased to see us go through, obviously, in another round. But it's not. It's least my worries right now. That game. I'm also with Inter, Arsenal, Newcastle. That's the games I'm more focused purely on right now. But if you get through as Watford, I'll be pleased. And I think, Joe, what I think Si's actually right there. I'm actually quite confident this year in terms of how well we're going to do because I think the Champions League last year, the way we went out, we were angry because we should have battered Madrid, home and away, and we were let down by defensive failures because the defense last year kept failing when it mattered most. Like
especially at the Bernabeu.
Oh my god! Like the first two goals I mean, were terrible. I know it was I can't think of the fact the goal, so it is what it is in that one. But the second one, I was like, what are we doing with Virginia and Rodrigo? Like two of the most quickest players in the world at what they do. They let them through like that. I think this season, I want to see a real stop. I want to get Madrid. I want to beat them with Mbappe. if Haaland beats Mbappe, do you know the amount of PR we get from that? Like the amount of
about Mbappe and Haaland, right? At my office, I have a lot of Real Madrid fans, and I have a lot of bits out. Like I have a lot of money out, and one of the bets I have is 150 quid on who's scoring the most goals of Haaland or Mbappe in the Champions League and the league, the national league for them. Yeah, my mate is shitting himself already.
Well, Mbappe, I've watched Mbappe so far. Mate, you're miles better than him so far this season. Like Mbappe's been like I'd argue. I'd probably say you're miles a better chance this year than Mbappe does because Mbappe so far, from what I've seen of him, is like 2 penalties, 1 tap in against Atalanta, and another one against Betis. He's been nowhere near the level he was before that anyway. And I just think, for me personally, he is not the best player in the world for me. Never has
and
been.
Even a below par season for Haaland, he still comes out top scorer last season. So I think Si's bet he's on.
Yeah, but let's not forget last season, Haaland was Haaland was shit for his standards. He underperformed his XG so much. So many times like, how have you not scored like 5 goals this game?
Right.
And he still scored, and it was out 3 months, and then he still scored 28 goals. Do you know how insane that is?
Yeah, because I kept saying it in my podcast. I said I kept calling him out. People didn't like it. I said I don't care. I've watched this guy since Salzburg, and the days I'm a big fan of him since his first Champions League game. Obviously, we got a hat trick in his first game. Since then, I've been watching him constantly throughout Dortmund and Salzburg. I know how good this guy is. Obviously, we do know him more by watching him with City, but we all know, like, especially when seeing the Dortmund Haaland, like the Dortmund Haaland was ridiculously good on the counter attack, and sort of, I think he's getting back that kind of ability again. You remember where it was like the counter attack, running through on goal, the amount of goals he scored now, of different ability. I think there's one thing about Haaland I said about last year. It was the confidence in front of goal. Last season, how many times would Haaland have missed those chances later this year? Last year, like the amount of one-on-ones that he had last year that he kept missing or hitting the post, or the keeper kept saving it. This year, he's chipping the keeper.
Yeah,
and go on.
Have you seen his XG for this season? How much he's outperformed it?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I think
his XG is 4.5, and he scored 9 goals.
Fucking hell.
That's
We're
pretty
only
fucking
4
sick. It
games
is. That is so sick. That is so sick.
See, you remember that Community Shield game where he missed that open goal towards the end of the match?
The grin.
Yeah, now look at him. 2 golden boots, treble winner, the Premier League at 4p. He's literally going to cook every single record. I mean, Luke said this before, Si. How long is it going to be before he actually overtakes Alan Shearer's record at the top?
Well, at this point, 6 seasons, right?
Yeah,
in this rate, 6 seasons. Yeah. I mean, also, if like Pep said, was it last night, that if he keeps playing, he will smash both Messi and Ronaldo's goals. Like he said,
will.
I scored 9 goals in my entire career. Ronaldo scored 900. Haaland will smash both. That's pretty. For him to say that.
Clip this to anyone in the chat right now. I think Erling Haaland will break Messi's 91 goal calendar year record at some point. He'll do it.
Yeah, that's not unthinkable.
It sounds crazy. If he has an injury-free year, it goes on the run. If one do that, I think people saying it's impossible. No, it's not. I don't know, because Messi wasn't a striker, was he? He was more of a centre forward.
However, you've just had the Euros, and obviously Norway aren't getting to any tournaments at the minute. So Haaland's had that month off, and he's been training, keeping fit, and obviously everyone's still fucked after that Euros tournament and Copa America. Haaland's literally got the energy to go burst on the scene again and again, and not fatigued by it.
Like Harry, we watched him on Saturday. Like 4 or 5 that game. It was like Flecken making them saves and blocks. Like the amount of chance that he had. I mean, this is me. I'm saying that yeah, but the way how hungry he is to get shots on target and hit them, a bit of that. Last season, that wasn't anywhere near that level, and whereas this year, I'm just really appreciating and enjoying his and the anger he has as well. He doesn't score. Like, you see how frustrated he was. Like, he screamed out loud. He wasn't scoring. I thought that wasn't there last year. Really, this year his passion's back. Like, he's got that hunger to score again. I think it's been a while since we've seen Haaland like that again. I'm really looking forward to seeing him keep it up, because having a player like him in this level of form and eager to score more and more, it's frightening for everyone involved, but not us. So, yeah, I'm definitely enjoying that.
So, Si, before you go, right, I've got one question for you. Yeah. Where do you actually think Manchester City will be this time next year, with Pep, with Haaland, with like Wirtz, Musiala, and dare I say it, 115 before you go?
I think Pep will sign a 2 or 3 year extension. I think we get at least one of either Musiala and Wirtz, and I have bets on that as well. You know me, I have bets everywhere. So, and Haaland will extend. I don't see him leaving anytime soon. And on the 115. Yeah, I think we get cleared on the big charges. What I do think we will get found guilty of is some of the alleged non-compliance stuff, which will probably result in some kind of fine, and that's okay as well. But I'm pretty sure, because they will start with the itchy salad sponsorship, right? And if they can't prove that, 66 of the charges gone like that, because they're all linked to that. So if that's not proven to be faulty, all the other charges, 66 of them, bang, gone. Then you have 32 of non-compliant stuff. We will probably get found guilty for some of them. And then you have like 12 player manager payments, and then we have something else I can't really remember. But like, so quickly, I think they will get the big charges done. So yeah, I don't think
a fine, just slap on the wrist or a fine.
Yeah. But not a slap on the wrist for breaching anything. Slap on the wrist for our lawyers. For when the Premier League comes, say we want to look at these documents, we say we don't think that's relevant for your investigation. We don't want to show that. And then they say, okay, let's go to court. We go to court. Court either say show them or not. There have been loads of instances with that, and that's what the charge is for, right? And I mean, that's fair for City to challenge something, saying no, we don't think, because the Premier League is still like, you can't trust the Premier League. It's still the red cartel still controls that. So if they got hold of documents, don't mistake that there's not a lot of company secrets that they don't want out because their strategies or their plans or everything. You don't want all those trade secrets out. You don't want that. So of course they will be fighting some stuff. Of course.
And
also think
they'll
about it as
also
well.
be angry with Leicester City as well with that case, so they'll want to get revenge on Man City.
Also think about it as well, right? Why would they bring in Omar Barada if he was lit? And bear in mind, his name was also on his emails as well. So I'm just saying now, right? I think we'll be all right. That's why for me, after this stream, I'm not mentioning it at all. I'm just going to just let everyone just sort of get giddy and cry all the time about it. And then when we get found out to actually not be guilty of anything, I'll come back on here and laugh at everyone. So that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, thanks, Slido, for coming on, my friend. Thank you very much for joining us for this hour. I really appreciate it for all your support.
Thank you, guys. It's lovely.
Giving the channel and myself and Harry and also everyone else in the community. Big up to you, and I look forward to seeing you go hopefully soon.
Yeah,
see you. Have a good evening, boys.
Check out Side's social media. It's in the description below.
Yeah.
Thank you. Boys, talk to you later.
Bye.
Take care, lad.
Big up, Si, as always. Absolute legend. And I appreciate, obviously, all his time coming on and chatting away. But yeah, but back to us two. Back to the Brigzy show. the original two. I mean,
keep hitting the like, guys, and subscribe to the channel.
Guys. Yeah, big it up. So, many more guests to come on this show. And just Si, many more to look forward to. But we'll keep quiet on that for the moment. But trust me, well worth the next few shows just to see who bring on next. But to answer Joe Watt, Sabajotti, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, but I'm just terrible.
Bazu.
Yeah, Bazu. What did you guys think of the Kanji experiment last year? For me, Akanji can't do it. I think Vardiol's better at that than the Akanji is. Vardiol's a lot more dynamic as a player that can sort of pass the ball, and also the way he sort of gets forward as well at Kanji. Sorry, Vardiol as well, in terms of in four positions. I'd say I prefer Yosko there instead of Akanji, but I prefer Kanji more at the back with Diaz defending. That's what he's good at. That's what I like seeing him do. I think Steve, yeah, I agree on that. I think for me, Stones and Walker, honestly, it was a catastrophe. I mean, I couldn't believe what I couldn't believe what I was seeing on Saturday. I was like that, my head in my hands. I was baffled at what I was watching, because 30 seconds into the game, right, settle the game down, get it to a tempo, and build from there. Don't let them control the ball like that. And the way they sort of got the ball off us and pressed us in, and we just had no idea what we were doing on the ball. It could have been like 4 or 5-0 that first time. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if I actually lost the game from them. But obviously, go on.
For me, right, sat in the South Stand that match on Saturday, I'm thinking, it's going to be another game where, like I say, just get the W, because I mean, it's first game back after international break, like what we've been saying on here for weeks now. Just let's get the results in first, and then the performances build on as time goes on, like the next few matches. Excuse me, but that first 20 minutes, it was a car crash, and like we just said to Si there, I don't want to blame it all on Stones. I don't want to blame Stones. Sorry, don't want to blame him too much. But what you've got to realise is his minutes are limited at the club at the minute. Not his fault of his own. It's just because of the way other players are playing and because of his injuries. He's like a biscuit. He can collapse any time, and he's out for months. And I don't think Stones on his own fault, like he's getting injured purposely, or he's shit. It's more about manage him in cotton wool. That is the way to go forward. As for the rest of the defenders, Rico at left back was a bit of a strange one, because I said to you last week, didn't I, Luke? I didn't want to see Walker until Watford, so I don't know why, unless it's to do with what's happened with Aki over the international period. if that's the reason behind it, why we've had to play what's he called, Rico Lewis at left back, maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But
for me, so go on, man. Sorry,
yeah, but with Rico at left back, I don't, unless it's still with the Aki situation, fair enough. But I didn't really want to see Walker till Brentford, and then to see, sorry, Watford, yeah, and then to see Walker play like that against Brentford, it's just like that proves why we as fans are right about Walker. And obviously, everyone's criticising him on social media. It's like City Look TV, for example. He said, "I think Walker's time's done," and everyone was snapping at Luke saying, "Why he's saying bad things about Walker after a good win like that?" But it's more about, have you seen Walker over the last 12 months?
Yeah.
And with what? Sorry, I'll stop in a sec. But the thing is with Walker, it's you play him against Watford because that could make or break his City career. Because you come to the end of your careers, you're not in your prime forever. Your age catches up to you, and this is Walker's time now. I think it's time for Walker to say, "This ain't for me no more because my body's catching up to me. I can't do these. I can't do these matches at the top level no more. I need to drop down or maybe retire."
Yeah, no, I agree. For me as well, right? People say, "Oh, why be negative for?" I thought, no, don't, no. People have no idea, what we actually mean by Walker. Don't. The result is great, yes. Remember that the result we're saying it's fine, but the performance we played wasn't at the level that we should be playing at. Yeah, 1-2-1. Yeah, we played better towards the end of the game, but if we just carry on pretending that everything's okay, then you're just glossing over everything. That was not a great game from us overall. I'm not saying we were terrible. I think first half we were terrible, but towards the end of the first half we were much better. Second half, much more controlled, much more like us, part of the finishing. But what we got to do as a fan base is start calling out performances that aren't good. Doesn't mean that I'm saying that they're terrible, they're finished, but you got to call it out and say, look, this one wasn't good enough. If the next game we were able to get better. Look, a 4 out of 4 is a great start. Don't get me wrong, but we've got to look at these performances and say it's great so far, but we're still September. We've got a long way to go this season. Performances like that need to be analysed and called out on. And Carl Walker that game wasn't the only one, by the way. He got better towards the end, but he wasn't great overall. I mean, the first half, the way he failed to deal with that crossing, I was baffled while watching. I thought, is this a league? Is this a?
His positioning as well, for example.
I mean, the way the ball bounced and he let is it a Lewis Potter or something on the left hand side? Yeah, he was good, by the way. I watched him. He looked a very good player, but a very nimble player. I think
fans rated him.
Yeah, he's a good player actually, Lewis Potter.
There was all raving when I've been working at Hull, and there was all saying we can't let him go.
No, he's a good player, mate. I also, by the way, as well, I love Visson and Bummer, by the way. They're very good players. I said before the game, them two we watch out for. And Bummo ripped us apart at first off. He was brilliant. He ripped.
But
go on.
The problem is, it's like what you say, we've got to call out players for being good and call out players for being shit. The difference with Kyle Walker and John Stones is not shit. John Stones has not been shit for 12 months. He's been injury consistent for time, and that's nothing to do with his personal game. That's down to his personal fitness and his body. Kyle Walker has been consistently shit for 12 months, and when he gets his chance to play in Man City, a Man City shirt, he crumbles. That's the difference between saying Stones is shit and Walker's shit. Stones is shit because of no fault of his own. Kyle Walker's just shit because his time's coming.
Exactly, and that is what we've been saying for a long time now, and that's why I said in the summer, if Walker can go, we get like a Frimpong in. I mean, people say, "Oh, but it should be Rico. Should the fullback go forward?" No, yes and no. I love Rico. I'm not saying I don't trust him, but I'd rather have two players that can play the positions than just having one player. Because bear in mind, right, to replace Carl Walker is not going to be easy. I know he's been terrible last 12 months, but for ultimately the most time of his time here, he's been brilliant, absolutely world class on his day. Yeah, in terms of defending, of pace. I'll remember Walker for that rather than for the recent season. But if we're going to be replacing Carl Walker, it needs to be with someone a lot more, I think, technically experienced, especially in Europe. I'm not saying Lewis isn't, by the way. I'm saying I don't want to force Rico into say, here we go, it's your turn now. I want him to get a bit more time. Again, I'm not doubting him. I think Rico is generally one of the best players I think I've seen of my caliber for a while, since probably Palmer and Foden, and Bob as well. Bob is a category as well. But it's good to have players like that in the team. And I just think, for me, from what I'm seeing at the moment from Rico, it's great. But we need to have another player on who's, I'd say, Walker's level of pace and ability. I think Frimpong offers that in that way. I know I'm saying him a lot on streams because I've watched Jeremy Frimpong a lot and I rate him very highly. Yeah, he's a winger, he's a wing back. And I think our team is suited more to a wing back system. It also, people don't remember, having a free back, Frimpong up there overlapping with Savio, you can make it work. And okay, I'm not saying he's the right player, but I'm saying you want someone of that little ilk who come in and sort of take that role and make it his. Again, I wouldn't be upset if Rico is a player that replaces him. I'm just saying that I wouldn't mind someone of that level of quality, also who knows City as well, and also the style of play as well. Just me personally, but I know obviously everyone's different how they sort of see things. But yeah, I think for me, Kyle Walker, John Stones as well, it just looked very uneasy, very shaky, very nowhere near the level that they're both used to. I thought Kanji was not the best, but I thought he was probably the best player out of that original back four.
Yeah, you've got to respect for Kanji. I mean, when they came through that door, 15 million, and Dortmund fans were saying, look what you've signed. And everyone was expecting him to be fifth choice. Look what he's become over the last 2 years. A proper stalwart of this team. Literally, he's become like so solid. He could even become a leader. Like, he's that important to us at the minute, and he's keeping that defence as a unit.
Yeah. I feel like, I said before, this team is going to change a lot. It's going to be a lot of different teams this season, a lot of different midfields and variety of defences. But what we got to do is look at more not necessarily the actual team we're playing, the performance overall. It should be. Look, I'm not saying that Gundogan competition, Kevin were terrible. They weren't, but we were getting bypassed too easily in the field. There was no Rodri, there was no DM presence to sort of get in there and deal with that, ball over the top from Flecken towards Mbumo and Visser. I think, I mean, you noticed as well, watching us bring on Vardy and Rodri, you immediately saw the team change. More structure, more of a unit, and it felt more like we had control of the game, and Brentford had no answer to it because they couldn't deal with the Rodri's imperiousness. And also, I thought Rodri actually looked quite fit as well, like quite actually match fit. It looked like he actually was ready to go for it. I think having that as well going to Inter and Arsenal is massive. I think, for me, you can't not play Rodri against Arsenal. You can't. You need him in that team. Yeah. Go on.
Like, you have to play him 100%, but it's obviously manage the minutes, because, like, if you're going to play him Wednesday, do not kill him. But I think we're slowly, honestly, I'm going to say this, I think we're slowly getting back the old Rodri that we used to know, where he's not being ran to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's I think as well, when you watch Rodri and then have Kevin Gundogan in front of them, it allowed them to do more what they're used to doing. Like, Kev looked more into the game. So, I've watched him constantly, overlapping each other on the left hand side. And then you sort of see is that Gundogan and Savio linking up. It looked so good. And I think we were a bit unlucky that it wasn't 4-5-1 in the second half if Haaland and Flecken wasn't keeping Haaland out a second half. By the way, big up by the way to Ashley Flecken, by the way. Good keeper. I think it's a good keeper, Flecken. It was probably if he gets a big move and someone much more in Europe spot. I'm not saying he's a world class keeper, but I think he's actually a decent goalkeeper.
Yes and no, because I don't know why. I've really got flashbacks of Arsenal at the minute, how they treat their keepers. Look, when everyone was buzzing about Ramsdale.
Yeah, I know. And
I think the same might happen to Raya eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I mean. Steve, right? Akanji 20. The thing is, Akanji, while I watch him actually play, people say he's like he's overrated. Now I watch him and I actually think he's actually quite a general. I say he's quite a general leader in that team. Is he a vocal? Is he a vocal leader? No. He's like Kevin. Kevin's not a vocal leader, but he'll lead and guide the team forward. As it's why I said before, as a captain, I wouldn't give it to De Bruyne. I'd give it to Diaz, because Diaz came on immediately with barking orders around saying, "You go there." Yeah, and I thought straight away, captain's there. There you go. I thought fine now, because Diaz has that company presence about him. He sort of gets everyone settled down. They get into rhythm and they go from there. And having him and Rodri as those kind of players in that sort of spine, like you got a spine of Edison, Diaz, Rodri, De Bruyne, Haaland. It's a spine that just stays and sticks really well, and you got players around him that sort of rotate in between. Having that spine there, you saw immediately how much better we were overall. And I think I'm not saying that you got to play the players all the time, but I'm saying that what we need is to have that spine be a consistent thing this season, because you need that spine and that nous, because without it, you end up getting surprised by someone. So I hope that what we can do going into Inter and Arsenal, build that spine back up again, and obviously now and again take ones here, take that, and sort of just get it built up properly, so it's actually looking strong going into winter. Because like I said, these games right now are a test to sort of see where the squad actually is for big games. Inter and Arsenal right now is a good test for the squad to see where we are, and I'm intrigued to see how these players perform. After the national break.
That's what they always say, though, don't they? They say Christmas is like your toughest period, and it's like your testing period because you've got all these games coming up at once. This is literally Christmas now, with all the games that are flowing thick and fast. Every game till now can decide like the long-term longevity of this team towards like March to like back end of the season. We know what we're going to get over the next few weeks, I think.
Could be rated for free. To be honest with you, mate, I wouldn't be listening to any kind of reports about Haaland going anywhere. Look, the thing is, right, Madrid media are going to try and do everything they possibly can to link players to their clubs all the time. Please tell me a reason, right? No, this is not you, by the way, mate, because obviously I understand what you're saying, just put it in the chat. Please give me a reason how Madrid are going to fit Florian Wirtz, Malmo Musiala, Haaland, other players that I'm thinking of as well, into that team, that squad. Are you telling me, they'll be fine with it, though, because in Madrid? Madrid's PR can only go so far.
And imagine if they got Musiala, they've got Jude Bellingham now, they've got Vinny Jr., they've got Rodrigo, Mbappe,
Brahim Diaz.
Yeah, and then let's say you chuck in Haaland. Say you chuck in Haaland, and them players I just mentioned. You're telling me they'll all be cushy, they'll all be best mates. It's a bunch of egos.
And I'm also bearing as well, and Rodri as well. So tell me that Tchouaméni is going to be happy. So is Valverde. It's what I mean.
Nah, a bunch of egos for me.
I've said before, right? Take everything that they say with a pinch of salt. Yes, I'm very sure Perez would like Rodri. Anyone would like Rodri. But I said before, we're not mugs. Man City are not this team that Madrid can just barge over. We're a much more. If they want Rodri or any of our players, money, please. Yeah, money of a fit in for that. I'm not saying I want to sell them, but I'm saying if players want to go, fine. But
but Luke, the problem is Real Madrid wanting everyone. Do you remember that summer when they got Ronaldo, Kaká, Xabi Alonso,
Di Maria,
Benzema?
Di Maria.
It didn't click at first, did it? Because there's all a bunch of egos.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they were playing Football Manager back then.
Yeah, exactly. And Steve, I agree with you here about, for me personally, Rodri needs to be managed well. I think the fact that we've got a good bunch of midfielders now that can actually do a good job. I mean, also, by the way, as well, you got a little cameo, but Nunes as well has so far impressed me. Really impressed me so far of how he's sort of getting a lot of energy as well in his play. I think he'll be one player I think that'll get a bit of game time this year. I think he'll definitely prove himself. I think he's really showing how good he actually can be. I think as a player in there, you can see it. It's just whether or not he actually wants to work hard to get to that level, or Pep gives him that chance. But I think he will. But do you know what, Steve? I actually agree with that one, because the thing is, I think for me, look, I'm not saying doesn't love it here. Not at all. Rodri, I think, will always have a special place in his heart for City. But I've also said before, if he ever wants to go out to Spain, after maybe one more Champions League win, whatever, I wouldn't blame him. Because at the end of the day, right, players, it's a very short career, isn't it, mate? It's a very short career.
But they all have a place in the hat for the cities now, because I mean, Gundogan came back, Rodri, heart on his sleeve for City, Haaland, heart on his sleeve for City, Diaz probably has his heart on his sleeve for City.
Yeah.
Even the Edison stuff over the summer, heart on his sleeve for City. By the look of it,
even Sane sort of. I don't know the way he left, but Leroy's always a lot of love for us. So, I mean, Sterling. Well, that's a different story. Sterling.
Yeah.
That's not personal. That's just him, sadly. But I just think, you know what I mean. I just ask. I say, mate. I mean, I say anything like that, mate. Any kind of approach team, just don't. I'm sure you do anyway. But I say all that kind of BS, put it in the bin. Unless Jack Gorn or someone at the club comes out and says he wants to leave, then fine. I mean, from what I've heard so far, I mean, obviously, I think now and again, I think Martin sort of puts stuff down again. His basis was a bit of news. I think, far away as a contract, I think was it Foden's sort of on the way. So Haaland, so Rodri. So I think there's a bit of like contracts going on right now, apparently anyway. So I imagine we might get news on that soon enough. But I'm not going to say like it's guaranteed whether, because like with contract depends really on what's been said. But I think as far as I'm aware of Rodri. I mean, a lot of the Madrid players were saying about, come to Madrid. So there's a lot of like talk about that. But the thing is with that is eventually once that sort of subsides, I'm sure he'll realise what he wants to do. But that's where I'm sort of have on that situation anyway. Yeah, Steve, I think for me he will. But I think Watford will be a big game for him.
Rotation game, full stop.
Yeah, it will be. Look, that game I couldn't give a shit about that game. It was a City game. I couldn't care at all. Like, look, if we win that
winnable.
Game, yeah, I think we'll win it, but I'm not necessarily worried about it. I'm more focused on obviously the first two. I'm more on Inter first than I'm on Arsenal. But for me, I'm just focused on getting through these two games, getting through them unscathed with wins. Because I think all these two games are done. We've got a fairly easy running after that before we go on to like November, December, and the big running like Liverpool and Tottenham. So we've got a bit of time before that. So it's nice to sort of just. I think these two games, especially now, it's definitely a test for us to see where this team's going to be. Obviously, is right now. I'm sure we'll see where this team's is, on Wednesday. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Pep goes with. I'm looking forward to seeing, how we set up, because I said before, like this is going to be a whole different, season this year. A long season. Going into at least July, obviously with the Club World Cup, we've got a long time to go before it's all done again. So bring it on. So I say, bring it on.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. I mean, obviously, you'll be there Wednesday against Inter. I mean, before we obviously end the stream in a bit, predictions for Wednesday.
Genuinely couldn't give you a score because one, depends on the team, and two, it's match day one of the Champions League. As long as we just win, I don't care what score it'll be. It's more like I'm more asked about Arsenal because that's a more defining game. Whereas group stage one of Champions League, you've got another 7 games to play with, but it's just what the team's going to be, and it's about can we just get 3 points on the board to start with.
So I mean, I think Chris here says 2-1. I think Joe. I think that's probably. I mean, I'd take that. I wouldn't. Look, a win's a win. At this point,
Exactly.
look, I'm not benefit about it. Look, if we batter into land 4-5-1, I'd laugh. But Inzaghi's a good manager. I got mate.
And another thing is, look at the performances of the first few matches. It's not exactly been up to scratch. It's not exactly been Pep Guardiola, free-flowing. Pep ball, is it?
Not yet.
So
anyway.
I think we're a long way off to finding the balance like we've mentioned all night.
Yeah.
The structure on the pitch will not be there just yet. So it's just about getting over the line. It's about what team's going to play. And, yeah, let's just up 3 points. And then for a result for Sunday is more the important thing.
I think for me, I'll predict. I think I'm with Steve. I'm going to go 2-1 City for Wednesday. Arsenal, I think, will be. People, some saying that will batter Arsenal. No, it won't batter Arsenal. Arsenal are no mugs. Respect. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that their fan base is mental. As a squad, they've got experience and they're quite resolute in how they do it. I think for me personally, I think we'll win 2-1. On
all right, we'll get the Arsenal goal then.
Trossard.
Because it ain't going to be bloody Gabriel Jesus, is it?
No, it'll be Trossard. It'll be Trossard. He's a good player, Trossard.
Interesting.
And I think that if we can get out of these 2 games unbeaten, right, I'm happy.
2-0. 2-0 for Sunday. Because I can't see him scoring.
All right, okay, 2-0. No worries. I think,
as me and Ty have said all night, it's about Arsenal just going to camp, basically. They're going to have a low block and just camp and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, but I said I'm just I'm looking forward to seeing the games this week. I'm looking forward to it. I think Ryan asked I think earlier on about which games we're actually looking forward to watching in Champions League. I think for me, I'm a big football purist. I love like certain European games. I'm looking forward to watching one game earlier on is PSG versus Juventus, because it's like it's because PSG are a good team. They have some good players, and also Juventus as well. Obviously, they're a bit. They're not saying Juve of old, no, but it's back in Champions League again. Under Motta, we should see how they do. Also Villa as well. Away at Young Boys at the Wankdorf Stadium.
Yeah, I've been to Wankdorf.
Yeah,
yeah, man. Young Boys, Wankdorf. Honestly, right. Did you hear about it last year, Luke, at the Wankdorf? So they've got all these shops on the ground. They've got like a supermarket on the ground, like literally. Yeah. It's like what Hull City used to have. If you Google the old Bulfrey Park of Hull City, they had like a quick save there. That's what Young Boys have got on the actual turnstile.
That's mental. Love it.
And then about 200 meters away, I think there was a McDonald's.
Love it. That's a proper like old school Swiss team. So Swiss.
Tell me about it.
I think Villa will win tomorrow. A first game. I think Bayern beat Zagreb. Liverpool vs Milan will be a good game to watch. Liverpool AC Milan.
Nah.
Okay.
That reminds me. Your friend's going to Milan Liverpool.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I hope she has fun. Not. Madrid, Stuttgart. I mean, who cares? Like Mbappe thing.
Could be 4 or 5 mil that.
Sporting Lille. Decent game that one. I think Sporting won that one, but it should be an interesting one. And also, United are playing Barnsley tomorrow in the League Cup tomorrow.
Oh yes! So my mate's a Barnsley fan. He's a season ticket holder, but he's not going because obviously work, and he says he don't want to pay. I think it's 35 quid they're charging. He said he don't want to pay 35 quid to sit in that swamp.
No, I don't blame him. Shit all.
Honestly, so I might be watching United Barnsley tomorrow. Might text him see if he wants to go pub.
Yeah, might as well. Young Boys and Breast. Oh god, that's a joke. Won't happen, isn't it?
So hang on. As long as his stream don't get taken down, Young Boys and Breasts.
BSC Young Boys and Stab Breasts while YouTube. That's what.
No. Young Boys and Breasts.
Yeah,
that's a bit wrong.
It is, but it's in context, so it'll be all right. Now,
I don't get monetized for this.
Well, I'm not anyway, so it doesn't matter. I mean, the rest of the game so far. I mean, was it Bologna playing Shakhtar? I mean, Shakhtar back. Let's go. But Sparta Praha playing Salzburg. Bratislava away at Celtic. I would again to watch. Atmosphere wise, both teams have a bit of atmosphere as well. So what? Club Brugge versus Dortmund. I mean, Dortmund win that one. Obviously, I was going into Milan. I've been a game on the week, probably the week. And then PSG Girona. I mean, Girona is not shit, but they're not.
This reminds me of this first week.
What?
I don't know unless it's just the first week, but it just reminds me of the old Champions League format where you got these dead games.
Yeah,
and they wanted like high-profile matches.
It's not fun so far, is it? I mean, fair enough. In the League Cup, Tottenham playing Coventry away, so watch Tottenham lose Coventry and lose another trophy. Watch Coventry beat Tottenham, by the way, on Wednesday.
Right, quickly before we do wrap the stream up.
Yeah.
Right. Where to fucking go with Ange Postecoglou? I don't get him. Right. I need to have a little rant about this because I've not had a rant tonight.
Go on.
So, if people are still in the chat, get your opinions on this before we wrap up the stream. But Ange Postecoglou, whatever you call him, Hugh Murray, no offence to Hugh, top lad. He was bigging this guy up from Celtic, saying he's going to come in the Prem and could be a great manager. Look at Tottenham in his first 12 months. He's had a one full season, and his tactics were just walk. There was dead. There was just one style of play. Like, look at that Tottenham Chelsea game and high line bollocks, even when they had 9 men. And look at his comments when we played him about he's saying, I don't get what all the fuss is about. Why would Arsenal fans want us to win? Why do you want us to lose on purpose so Arsenal can win the league? He got so angry over that. And then yesterday, that was I know I've said it before, but it was a bottle job. Ange had the perfect chance, especially no Rice, no Odegaard. You're at home in front of your own fans. You had the perfect chance to beat Arsenal on the ropes, and you blew it. And then obviously, in the press conference after the match, that reporter asked him, "Are you going to win something this season?" And he said, "You're going to let me answer the question." And he got a bit arrogant. And he says, "We always win stuff in our second season with me in charge." Okay, then, Mr. Arrogant. Tell you what, you'll be sacked soon. You will be sacked because you're not a good manager. You've only got one tactic, and it's literally just high line and bottling stuff. Literally, he's Australian, so I'm sorry to any Australian viewers out here, but I'm a Celebrity is coming up in November. The usual regular show on ITV every year around November. If he's not sacked, well, if he's sacked soon, he'll be on ITV's I'm a Celebrity back home for him. They'll be offering a big lump of fee, like Harry Redknapp was on. Being nice to have another Tottenham manager on there, because that's where he's going. He's not taking Tottenham any further than mid-table. That Tottenham team at the minute, it reminds me of the FA Premier League Tottenham where there was mid-table all the time.
Juan de Ramos, Tottenham.
2006, 7, no, but 2005, 6, 2006, 7, mid-table. They're nothing special. The sheep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And they are literally not doing nothing with Ange. Look at Ange's CV, everyone. What teams, apart from Celtic, has he managed? Everyone can win a league with Celtic.
Yeah, Mumbai City.
No, but everyone can win a league with Celtic. I mean, you could, Luke. I could. Si fucking could. I mean...
I'll say it, though. Same manager as well that I like to talk around about is Russell Martin. Southampton manager. Exact same thing, by the way. The exact same. Like, the thing is, if you look at that Southampton team, right, it's terrible. Like, you got a good goalkeeper, but you got a pretty shit team. And you got one star player that it won't change. Like, I'm sorry, right? You are doomed to fail at that point of it. Like, I'm sorry. Look, I'm not saying like that you can't win that team. You can win that with any team with the right mentality. You can win, but I've said before. But with a star player, you won't change or update or try and change or adapt to what league you're playing in. You're screwed. So, look, Ange, Russell Martin. I'm thinking of managers that like it as well. I mean, not Thomas Frank. Frank's style is actually good. It's good for this league.
You're comparing Russell Martin to Ange, Ange's won stuff at Celtic. If you give Russell Martin that job at Celtic, he could win stuff, and then people would be hyping up saying, "Hey, he do a half decent job in the Premier League because he's won stuff at fucking Celtic." Yeah, Ange is a middle class manager. He's probably he's like a Fulham type of manager, like probably Fulham to lower league, so bottom of the table.
Ryan, bang on it. Bang on.
He is not a Champions League manager. He's not a Europa League manager. He's just an average mid-table manager. And before long, he will be in the jungle, appearing on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, back in his native Australia.
The thing is, right, I mean, Steve's right here. Like, Tottenham at this point, right, the only way to change Tottenham is the ownership. You can't do anything else because, look, it doesn't matter what manager you have in there, Mourinho, Conte, whatever. The ownership is the reason for the failures. Get rid of the owners. Get rid of Daniel Levy. Get rid of is it Joel Fraser? I can't remember the names of it. But
I've heard some. Apparently, he was happy. Ange Postecoglou was happy with the signings of this summer just gone. And if you went through Tottenham signings this summer, they don't exactly look. There's not been enough, and they've not exactly been appealing
Solanke, fucking hell, 65
60 million. Who wrote that off? Who wrote 65 mil for Solanke?
And
you're telling me Ange is happy with that? Nah. Disbanded for me.
Ivan Toney should have got. Even perfect for Tottenham. They're ideal for them.
Yeah. Tony, he could have even probably pushed the boat for Oshim and stop Arsenal getting him.
Or get Watkins.
Watkins, maybe. No, but not a Villa. But
No.
the thing is, Ange was happy with these signings. You're telling me Pep Guardiola would be happy. Imagine Aguero. Imagine you go from Aguero to Solanke. You're telling me Pep would be happy with that?
No. I mean, the reason why
Stable manager. He's washed. Ange's CV. You tell me, apart from Celtic, who's probably in a dead league, you tell me what big club he's managed. He's managed nothing.
No. All right. Let's have a bet in the chat as well. Who do we think?
Sorry, but I'd rather have Sean Dyche in at Tottenham than bloody Ange.
Right. Who do we think in the chat? Put in the chat before we end the stream. Who do we think will be the first manager sacked this season in the Premier League? Because obviously Stokes, is it Schumacher's been sacked now? So and obviously Preston's a lot. I don't really care about the
Championship. Oh yeah, but that's Championship.
Yeah, Premier League. Who's getting sacked first? I think for me it's between two. Sean Dyche and Ange Postecoglou.
I'm saying Ange right now.
Yeah.
I know I made a joke about Sean Dyche being in the B for last week, but Jesus, I think Ange could be gone. I'm a celebrity in a couple of months.
Dyche
and Deck's going to phone him up.
Seven Haag? No, he won't get sacked. Well, if he gets sacked, I mean, it would surprise me, but I can't see him getting sacked for a little bit, man. I think he'll find a way out of it for a bit, and then after he'll be sacked. Seven Haag. But yeah, I mean that's probably where we are. I think in terms of updates. I mean, big up the City women. I mean they're playing in Champions League as well. The same day. I think we're playing as well. So.
Ryan, where do Everton pick up points? Let me guess, Ryan. I'm going to say it now. Tottenham Hotspur.
Right, all right. Do you know what? So Everton's next fixture. So they got Southampton on Tuesday tomorrow in the League Cup. I mean, who cares?
Because it's on the League Cup.
Leicester away.
Win.
Really?
Win.
Okay. Palace at home.
Seriously?
Palace at
Everton
home.
beat Leicester. Sorry, Palace.
Yeah, at home.
Everton Palace.
Palace been
win. Win.
Yeah. And after that, they got Newcastle at home, which they got battered by probably. But
Newcastle, yeah.
Exactly.
But they're 6 points on the board.
And the good thing is, their run now is actually quite favourable. Apart from Newcastle, they got Ipswich after the break away. They got Fulham at home after that. In November, they got Southampton away. West Ham. They got quite a favourable run of games before December. So not too bad.
Now load up Tottenham for us, please.
No worries.
Let's have a look at this then, because like I say, I'm not convinced by Ange, especially after yesterday.
Right. Coventry away. I mean, League Cup.
Cup.
I mean, if you're honest, calling it now. Coventry 1, Tottenham 0. Calling it right now. Tottenham Brentford.
After Saturday with Brentford at our place, yeah, it's possible. I mean, we've got a better squad than Tottenham, obviously.
I think Spurs budget.
We've got a world-class striker. I genuinely think draw.
After that, they have Carrier bag at home.
Yeah, ignore that.
All right, end of the month, United away.
Straight up, United. No, sorry, straight up.
Yeah. And then to end the month, they got Frankfurt. I mean, Europa League is a fuck.
Yeah,
Brighton away. Last game before the break.
Before the international.
Brighton away.
Brighton.
They'll batter them, Brighton.
So I've just said draw, loss.
And then they got West Ham at home after the break.
No,
I mean, West Ham are the right so far, not terrible.
Because before long, he'll be on I'm a Celebrity, lad.
Yeah.
He'll be sacked.
Palace away. See,
look at his body language. Just look at Ange's body language. He doesn't look happy. Look at Pep's body language. I know there's a difference between the two teams, but Ange looks like he's depressed. He looks like me right now because I'm ranting. But with Pep, he looks like I could do another 10 years here. Ange looks ready to give up.
Now, by the way, the Champions League as well. I think for I mean, Arsenal playing Atalanta on Thursday, aren't they, away in Italy? So they only had two days to prep for Sunday. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think they're winning. Actually, I don't know. Atlanta are a good team, so I think they might edge it. But I think I think this week's Champions League games are quite varied. Like, there's not really many that stand out. I mean, obviously you got like is it a final versus Leverkusen and Leipzig versus Atletico, but it's pretty average this week for Champions League games. Not much really going on really, but I say I think so far in terms of City, I'm actually quite confident in how we're doing. I'm confident going into Wednesday's game. I'm confident going into Arsenal. I think for me, it's just about how much have we learned from Saturday? How much have we learned from that game?
Can't really tell with that, but like I said, depends on squad. It depends on the performance because it's match day 1 of 8, and the bigger picture is Sunday. Yeah. Just get over the line. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's it tonight. A big up everyone in the chat and the comments on Twitter, YouTube, all that for tonight's show. Big up Si as always for coming on for an hour and chatting to us. Especially after doing a 2 big show beforehand as well. So big up to him as always for coming on and chatting to us for about football at City and all that. Always appreciated. Big up to everyone in the chat. Ryan, Caribbean Racer, Steve, Tony earlier on as well. I've forgotten the guy's name.
Luke was in here as well.
Buso, City Luke, everyone who's in the chat, in the comments on Twitter or YouTube, big up everyone for tuning in tonight. Earlier show this week, obviously, because of Wednesday's game, not very much chance of us doing a stream, obviously, around that time anyway. So, I think anytime is there ever Europe on, we'll try and do it on the day that obviously.
There will be an exclusive for you guys. 2 weeks, I am going to Bratislava away.
Yep.
So, you will get a European experience. I will be live from my hotel talking to you about the match because it might be before the game. So we'll do a little preview with that.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you a bit about what the city's like in Bratislava and what I'm doing for the week while I'm down there. That'll be happening for Bratislava, Lisbon and Turin. And maybe Luke might do one when he goes to Paris.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, it should be a good one. That'll be a good one. You and me in Paris.
No, mate. There's no you and me in Paris because I ain't going.
Okay.
I had to break it to you. I'm doing knockouts.
No worries, mate. I'll probably be there as well. Big up Steve as always. As always, man. And actually, yes, well, big up Brand. Brand left club today. He's legend, by the way. Brand Ashton.
15 odd year.
50, people surprised that he's leaving. No, 15 years at any place is a long time in a job, and I can't blame him for wanting to get a different experience, different whatever. He's been there for such a long time and learned so much probably in what
more successful as well. I've heard more successful kickman.
Exactly. All the trophies he's had to hold and that's what he's part of. Mate, he has memories of a lifetime there. So I wish him all the best in whatever he decides to do. As they always love the City fan base as always, and I wish him all the best wherever he goes in future endeavours. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up everyone as always on the Twitter or YouTube, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 3. Take care, everyone.